come from. The truth is an irony, just like animal farm. Justice mean inequity, so who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian can say silence, Islamic leaders silence, kings and queens silence, traditional leaders silence. So who go say the truth? We are the workers of composite call. Now by area, why no better? We are the workers of composite call. One guy's out here, why no better? Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, you need it to see what I see so. Now your friend on an iron come at them. Only papi obeka na sembia. So I want to bet you two. Everybody was afraid. And when Tina to my cottage again, once my boy dumping one and but who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me, Nanso bien peso beka wasam because everybody is afraid. Anya safwe muayini, aku draw for nina dalima. And see who go say the truth? Obiaja konson so to grow your man sa to me bia kakobrafo. Efo anyina ye. Efo. Wa anyina ye. Na so ko trata down na so bi dia ba ko why no keke. Afene fo be man mo pia fo efo e. Ne cross on my mo. Anya safwe muayini akuku trofo nyina dalima. And who go say the truth? Abaya di bote chino yedi bi bebo nyande bi kachi se udi oma opipi numa would your mind never shine my frafonsa. But who go tell the truth? DUC, silence, even journalists, silence. So then who go say the truth? Right is right, wrong is wrong, no matter how you justify. You say you wanna get rid of corruption, someone want to help you. Now the person become your target. Jobless no they mean senseless. Poverty no they mean useless. One day them go resist.
Hello once again and good evening to you all. You are most welcome to our evening's program, our socio-political program, MyView. Wherever you are, we are very grateful once again that you have joined us. And you are most welcome to watch this program live on today's Ghana News TV with me, yours truly, Jerome Kpan, your host. Let me kindly remind you that we are also live on Switched via satellite and on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all on today's Ghana News TV. And you can equally follow us on Twitter and on TikTok, and as well as podcasts on Anchor FM. Once again, good evening, and wherever you are, it's good to come your way with another thought-provoking show, MyView, where I express my view, you express your view, we take the view of our host together with all our watchers and listeners, and at the end of the day, we see how best our views will go to help in the development of Mother Ghana. Today, we want to look at women in politics, especially in our fourth republic. What has been the contribution of women in our political development? We seem to look at from the representation in parliament to political appointments and to see how has our women contributed to the development of Mother Ghana or to the development of our political dispensation since the inception of the Fourth Republic. Wherever you are, once again, you are most welcome to the program. Share the link as well so that many more others will have the opportunity to express their views. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, I will introduce to you the guest for this evening. Once again, you are most welcome to my show.
Waiting there happy for Africa. Dusty old men holding on to power, leading the people to where? The grave? Wicked criminal leaders. See them a come, then coming like an angel. But them a thief, them no say them a thief. Mr. President, you coming like a savior. But you a thief, you know say you a thief. Thief President, why a thieving so? Thief man, why a thief so? The people they must suffer but you don't care so. Thief man, why a thief so? I see the people crying every day, yo. They want food, them can't find. I see the youth looking for a job, oh, every way, them can't find. Mr. President, him just belly full, oh. Him and the family, they no suffer, oh. Suffer, no poor man they suffer, oh. Suffer, rich man go they suffer. Suffer, no poor man they suffer, oh. Suffer, rich man they suffer, lie. See them a come, they coming like an angel. But them a thief, them no say them a thief. Mr. President, you coming like a savior. But you a thief, you know say you a thief. Thief President, why a thieving so? Thief man, why a thief so? The people they must suffer but you don't care so. Thief man, why a thief so? Mr. President, why you dey lie so? Before election, you tell me you be angel. When you sick, you run go a London. When we sick, we die for Kolebo. Mr. President, why you wicked so? Tell me how you dey sleep at night, oh. See them a come, they coming like an angel. But them a thief, them no say them a thief. Mr. President, you coming like a savior. But you a thief, you know say you a thief. Thief President, why a thieving so? Thief man, why a thief so? The people they must suffer but you don't care so. Thief man, why a thief so? This is Mr. Traitor, Mr. President, Master of Sleeping, Mr. Sleepy Dance. This is Mr. Traitor, Mr. President, Master of Sleeping, Mr. Sleepy Dance.
Welcome back to my View show. And this evening, we have no other person but a very prominent politician who will share her experiences with us in the political arena. And it is my privilege to introduce to you Ambassador Zita Benson. She is a lawyer by profession, and she happened to have been the 2008 NDC parliamentary candidate for Domi Kobinya constituency. She has held a lot of ministerial appointments. She's a former Minister of Information, a former Minister of Tourism, and last and not the least, Ghana's former ambassador to the Czech Republic. Not only there, she is an entrepreneur as well in the catering industry. I'm told she loves cooking very much. She will share her experience with us about how the joy is in cooking or in the cooking industry. But today, we want her to share her experiences with us concerning women's involvement in political development. Madam Ambassador Zita, you are most welcome to the program. Wow. Yeah, I think I can hear you from here.
The volume is gone. The volume is gone. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, okay, maybe we'll the technical team will have to take a look at it again.
Check your volume. I can't hear you.
Okay, we take a break.
Ghana for Emrene Drew. Yes, sorry, my Ghana. Mampenyi na nadu danko ekufado kache ese. Menye hiya ma na yeti sika so. Nenso comedy. Nenso ene woton a yento free a yentia ho kire nkwa.
Eti Ghana man for sabre. Yen sorintia ketasehye ne proya adekro abe. Yen sorintia ebusua ne anyonkofo aba. Bola to ehu hia eda fanwo bo.
Yen sorintia.
Eto ahodo a ededa fanwo so a enam so ama ebo na huri kos.
Yen sorintia. Yade kodie wo coronavirus sika yenya ya. Yedi ne funya. Yen pesi ye bebu ho akonta.
Yen sorintia.
Emre bo achimota kwaye no ho ban a. Ye free we enam so nti. Aban mu nkofo ahyase ye chiche nsase. Ede mo mo.
Yen sorintia. Omanya gudie nyina yede kosi a wo wagye ho sika di na ama nchiri ma bre. Ye japade.
We nyina kire se. Roma ye se. We ye kire kese a bi si da wo Ghana bakwasem. Arise Ghana ye ku kese a kwaku ahodo aka omo ho aboma. We ye demo kese a bi si da e wo Ghana bakwasem. Sa demo yi Arise Ghana ye kwaku a omaka omo ho aboma. Sadwefo wom, adwadifo wom, afitafo wom. Se Ghana fo amanyofo dodo na nso wom. Moma ye nyina nso na ye fa ye ho nhye. Roma ye hye demo yi mu.
Sa ye kire ye nanu dwumadie 28th and 29th June. Da edin kan a eye 28th June. Awia pram to brim. Ye be nante afri Obrasford apiem ewo Jubilee House my penny atena.
Na to so mienu ye be kwa kogiram ewo Ministry of Finance. Kenofori ataka che ho na yakohwie wo mrase video.
Kayokai ye de nafo mienu na eye ye kire. Roma ye sidemo.
Moma ye nyina sorry. Na ye nchi ye
Mambo yi.
The country where I come from, the truth is irony. Just like animal farm, justice mean inequity. So who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian can say silence, Islamic leaders silence. Kings and queens, silence. Traditional leaders, silence. So who go say the truth? We are them go get so confused the call. Now by area why no better. We are them go get so confused the call. One guy's area why no better. Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, you need it now, see what's I see so. Now your friend on a nine come at them. Only papi obeka nice and beer. So I want one over you. Everybody was afraid. And until I to my cottage again, once my boy dumping one and but who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me. Nanso bien person beka wasam because everybody is afraid. Hanya safwe muayini. Akuku drop on yina dalima. And who go say the truth? Obiaja konson so to grow Germansa to me be a cacobrafo. Efo anyina ye. Efo. When you know yet. Na so kutrata down so be dia back or why no keke. I fene for be man mo pia for efwe. No cross on my mo. Hanya safwe mo ayini. Akuku drop for you na dalima. And who go say the truth? Abaya di bote chino. Yedi bi bebo nyande bi. Fetchisa would your mouth pipinuma. Would your mind never shine my preference? But who go tell the truth? TUC, silence, even journalists, silence. Oh, then who go say the truth? Right is right. Wrong is wrong, no matter how you justify. You say you wanna get rid of corruption. Someone want to help you, now the person become your target. Jobless, no they mean senseless. Poverty, no they mean useless. One day, them go resist.
So welcome back. I hope my technical team has been able to rectify the problem that came up. But rightly, as I said, this evening we have a discussion with no other person but Ambassador Zita Benson, and she's a lawyer by profession, and you all recall that she's gone through a lot of ministerial appointments from information to tourism, and she was the last Ghana's ambassador to the Czech Republic. And we're rightly told once again that she's an entrepreneur in the catering industry and she loves cooking. Ambassador Zita Benson, please, you're most welcome to the program.
Thank you. How are you?
We're very privileged to have you this evening and to have a look at the involvement of women or in our political dispensation. Where are we and where we are moving to, and what could be the contribution of women to our political development? So once again, we're privileged to have you this evening. I don't know where we'll start from. We want to say a bit about your entrepreneurship before we move into the mainstream.
Oh, well, mostly it was my love for cooking that, drove me there. I never attended a catering school, but I just love cooking. It's something I do all the time, and when I'm happy, when I'm down, it's just cooking that I do.
Wow,
So
that's lovely.
Yeah, when I finished tech in 1999, getting jobs was difficult. So I decided that, well, I would use what I know to make a living. So that's how I entered the restaurant business, because it's better than staying at home doing nothing. So I started off, I opened my small joint, and then started that business, and it's something that I love doing so much. I love serving people, and it's part of me. That's my nature.
So is your small joint, is it still running as at now?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No, so what happened was, even when I was in law school, I was running that joint. It was an awfully gone Zetas Inn, and then I moved to, later on, opened a bigger one, the Z Bar, and but because I was out of the country and everything, I just let it go.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I thought e-levy had affected it and it's no longer running. Okay. So probably first of all, I want to just look at what is the impact of women in politics, or what's the impact of women in policy formation, that we think there is a need for us to see how best women can contribute to our development.
You see, women, we are the heart of the family. We are the heart of the nation. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of women in decision making, mostly men. And if we have more women, it would help to steer the affairs of the nation, in the sense that women know what the family want. Women, we even if you take let's say down below the ladder, it is women who take care of the children. Let's
Okay.
start from way below. Our mothers who wake up in the middle of the night to go to the market, they do all that just so their kids can um, get some good education, get a good life. So women know what the family wants. And so if we are able to bring in more women, we'll be able to know that, oh yes, if this kind of education, this is what our children need. This is what would make our families better. This is what would take, if you put in this policy would change people's lives. It will reduce hardship for the
Okay.
for families.
Okay.
So it's good that we have more women, and women are, let me say, when it comes to corruption, for instance, women are afraid. So you if you put women in high positions, you are sure that you can get value for money, for
Okay.
whatever that you put them in charge of. Do you understand?
All right.
Yes.
Okay. And probably before I even look at the statistics of women in the Fourth Republic, or the involvement of women, and what could be some of the challenges that female politicians actually face that could serve as a deterrent to most women going into political life?
Oh, my brother, I'm sure you know already. I'm sure you know, but we'll still talk about it. In fact, it's not easy being a woman in politics. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare being a woman in politics, especially in Ghana. I believe that all over the world, women face those problems. But I have I have been following politics around the world, and I see women in high places, some female presidents around the world, and everything. And I don't see them being chastised and insulted the way female politicians in Ghana are insulted. So I think that that is the main reason why very qualified women in Ghana may not want to join politics. Some of my friends would ask me, why are you still in politics? Because we think that it is too dirty. You are better than that. And my response is always that I can't sit back and watch the wrong thing being done, and then just watch on. So I just can't stay away from it. But most people don't want to be tagged or get themselves involved in politics, because of the mere fact that they are going to be called names, they're going to be insulted, their families are going to be dragged down. And women, we always have to protect our families. So once you get in, the abuse, the denigration of you as a woman and as a human being, an overly qualified woman would be dragged and abused so much that they would say that the male version, the male counterpart, is even better than her. When, if you put the two together, the female is overly qualified, but they prefer the male one because he's a man. So that inequality and abuse and everything deters women from joining politics, especially in Ghana. And I would emphasize especially in Ghana, because in Ghana it looks like we see women as just good for the kitchen and for marriage. So your ultimate goal in Ghana should be that you should be aspiring for is go get a husband. Why are you not married? That should be your highest aspiration in life. They don't see how a woman can get that far and can get that high. So it's very, very disturbing for us as women. And it deters most women to join politics, because when you join politics, someone who is not known, a very educated person who is not known, who is qualified, once they join politics, they
Okay.
open themselves up
Okay.
for
Yeah.
everybody to say whatever they want to say about them. And that shouldn't be the case. The person is joining because the person is qualified. The person is joining because the person can do the work. Do not look at the person's gender. Because the brain, everybody has a brain, and it's the brain that they are going to use to work. It is not the let me say the whatever hanging in front of them that they are going to work with. It's the brain. And some women perform better than men. But at the end of the day, once you're a woman, where your bar, where you're a woman, what can you do? As if you don't have a brain in your head. And it's very, very worrying. And that's why people who can do their job stay away. And they will even tell me that, why are you still there? Just get yourself out. Because the insults sometimes can be very, very, very bad. So.
But would most women just stay away just simply because of the insults? Because I'm saying this because if you look at our women representation in Parliament, well, there has been a consistent increase a bit. Right? The first Parliament, 200 parliamentarians, we got only 16 women. In the second Parliament, we had 18. In the third Parliament, it went to 19. 2004, 2008, it went to 25 and then reduced to 20. And then somewhere in 2012, we got at least 30 women in there.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, we had 40 women, which was 20 for NDC, 20 for MPP.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a gradual, let me say, increase, but the rate of the increase is indeed very, very, somebody would say, very negligible. What possibly could be done to encourage more women into this?
I remember that there was a white paper affirmation to get more women involved in politics, and I know there are a few NGOs like Aula and a few ones who try to bring more people, women into politics, but I think the challenge basically is at the ground level.
Okay.
The ground level, where you can put a policy down and say that, okay, we are bringing in 50% of women, because I know that, for instance, a country like Rwanda made that conscious effort to make it a policy to bring more women into politics, but because of the nature of our electoral system, for Ghana, for instance, when it gets to the grassroots level where the primaries take place, you can't force anyone on anyone. You understand? You can't say that, because we want 50% women, by all means, maybe Ayawasu, for instance, we are bringing you a female candidate. It doesn't work like that. It has to be the people who vote who will determine that we want this person. And then, unfortunately, when it gets to that level, women are tagged. Oh, this woman, she doesn't respect. This woman, she's arrogant. This woman, she doesn't know how to talk. Even the day she met me, she didn't greet me. And so they use those petty things to vote against the woman. So if you don't go beyond the primaries, how do you increase the numbers? So you can pass a policy to say that we want more women representation in parliament, but at the end of the day, the parties cannot force. I don't think the parties. I'm sure you would agree that I don't think the parties can force any candidates on anyone. That breeds a lot of unhappiness, and it turns into something else against the parties. So until probably the women go unopposed, but then they never allow them to go unopposed. But when it gets to the primaries, that's when the women lose out, because the people are very petty again. I'm telling you, I've been there before, and I'm talking from experience. People are very petty. Oh, this woman doesn't respect. Oh, this one is like that. Oh, go and find a husband instead of coming to run for this position. If it's a single woman, I've seen instances where there was one candidate. I think when my former colleague, I was in Hannah Tete, she was running against
yes. What's his name?
Ewutu.
Yeah, yes.
Ewutu Senya. What's the man's name? I think he was a minister
he went for one term and he lost. He was a deputy minister of industry.
Yes, he ran against Hannah Tete during their campaign. During their campaign, he brought out his family and showed his family and said, "This is my wife and my kids. Where is your husband?" You know, those little petty things. And when he did that, he won against Hannah Tete. You know, so I don't see how a husband has to do anything to do with a woman, a competent woman who is now working with the UN, you know, run against her and say that, "Where is your husband?" We are not showing off husbands and wives. We are not showing off husbands and wives during a campaign. But that was the campaign that that man did, and he won. So those are some of the things that we face as women. Instead of looking at the impact the woman is coming to make in the lives of the people, this man stood and said, "Where is your husband?" Is the husband the one coming to do the work for her? No.
No.
Exactly. So those are some of the challenges that makes it difficult for us to increase the numbers in parliament. You know, so yes, we can pass there's been a white paper for affirmation, and I remember that during his excellency Atamil's time, he made a conscious effort to increase the number of women in position, because that white paper was there. So he made sure that he increased the number of ministers and DCs and CEOs in positions, so that we would have that balance, But you know, I think that recently, when appointments were made by this current government, that balance went down. But I remember that in 2012, that balance was very high. That balance was very high for women, because it's very difficult to get women on board when it has to do with just you know, when people have to vote. So even if that won't work, then the appointments at the appointments level where women are appointed, you know, the appointing authority can make a conscious effort to bring in more women, at least to make use of them as well.
Okay. And probably let's look at the role of women in the appointed positions. If we look at the previous government led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I think we had a key number of key positions held by women. Notably, you are one of them, Ambassador to Czech Republic. We have Ikea Dansua, His Excellency to Germany, and then you can name them. Then you come to the ministerial appointment. We had the Attorney General, Honorable Martha Brew, and she played a very key role. And I think that also probably influenced the current government. Immediately they came into office, they started doing the replacement of wherever NDC put women, they also put women in there. Consciously, as people who have taken positions, can we look at it and then probably compare with the male counterparts, and then we'll see how has been the performance?
Oh, I really you want me to compare performance between men and women? I don't think I'm qualified to.
Not the men and the women. What I'm basically saying, but looking at those positions that they were held, just look at the achievements and all those things, and then we see. Should that not serve as a springboard for many women to also show up?
Oh yes, absolutely. I agree. I mean, the names that you mentioned, my big sister Marietta was just amazing. She saved us from, you know, Ivory Coast taking our oil from us, and she performed brilliantly. So I'm very proud of her, and I can talk for myself too. You know, when I was ambassador to Czech and Hungary, I served 5 countries. So it was Czech, Hungary, Slovakia, Macedonia, and Romania. You know, I managed to get scholarships for our young people from Hungary. You know, that scholarship started in 2016. I was the one who negotiated and had it signed and everything. I managed to also get how do you call it? They have a big sports facility. You know, so most of the time, when it comes to Olympics, because we don't have facilities like swimming pool and tennis courts and stuff, we don't perform. So we signed an agreement so that whenever we had Olympics, our our young guys can come over to Hungary and come and practice, and then also manage to get visa free for between us and Ghana for diplomatic passports. You don't have, once you hold the diplomatic passports and you want to travel to Hungary or whatever, you don't need to you don't need a visa. And between the Czech Republic at the time, immigration officers were not allowed to carry guns. So and they changed their laws because our borders were becoming very, very risky for our immigration officers. So I managed to get a first batch of free guns for our immigration officers, which was donated to them from the Czech government. Yeah. So we did a lot of work. I interacted with our Ghanaian community very well. And I believe that my male counterparts also did well. I'm not going to say that the women are better than the men. I will speak for my government because during our time, I know that a lot of things were done. Had the late Joyce Ativo, Mrs. Ativo, may her soul rest in peace, was in charge of transport. And you see the beautiful airport, the Terminal 3, that under her leadership was built as a woman. She was the minister for transport, and Terminal 3 was built under the leadership of that great woman. May her soul rest in peace. And there were so many other things that we did. Look at the hospitals that were built, the Accra regional hospitals, all the regional hospitals, all the district hospitals. They were also under leadership of our colleague men. But yes, we had a good combination of women, capable women and men, that brought together the development that we saw under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Someone now will just skip that and then go back to the gender ministry. Mm-hmm. There's a key question that has come up. It has always been headed by women, but it seems up to this point there is no policy, there is no cutout policy to protect our children, especially those on the streets. Is it that the women who headed those that particular ministry, has this not occurred to them as mothers to push the government to take a clear-cut policy to protect our children on the street?
I think that my sister Nana Oye Litha now Banfo. Nana Oye Banfo now did a brilliant job at the Ministry of Women and Children. She was all over the place, trying to help needy women and children. Her work is there for everyone to see. But unfortunately, over the past, let me say, 6 years, that ministry has deteriorated. It's just gone down. And when you drive on the streets of Accra, you see more children on the streets, serving as beggars when they should be in school. And it's very sad. It's very sad how from 2017 till date, that situation has just increased and has gone out of hand. And as you all know, you are well aware, the gender minister has been away for almost like 1.5 years now. Even though she's being paid with money, taxes. She's paid every month and she gets all her allowances, but she's away in America taking care of her kids. And well, that's the prerogative of the president. If he thinks that is okay, that's okay with him. But at the end of the day, whatever job that she's supposed to do, in as much as her kids are important to her, our taxes are also being used on her to make sure that the children on the streets are well taken care of. And right now, there's no policy direction. There's nothing happening at the Ministry of Gender because there's no leadership. There's no leadership. They put the Minister for Sanitation as oversight minister at that ministry. Okay? Yeah. But she's in charge of sanitation. How clean is Accra? How clean is Ghana? She herself, her ministry that she's in charge of, which is the Ministry of Sanitation, she's unable to, fully deliver because Accra is very dirty. So how do you give her the extra job of taking care of and children and women and abused men and so on and so forth. She cannot even handle her own ministry yet. We haven't seen the Accra that we want to see. When it rains, you see how Accra gets choked and flooded because of all the dirt in Accra. It chokes all the drains. Okay, so she herself, she's struggling. And then you add this ministry. The ministry of gender is a very important one, because every time I drive on the streets of Accra, I see our future begging on the streets of Accra. We will go. It will be left to them. Those kids need help. Okay, how do we get them off the streets? A future president is on that street selling or begging for money. And that dream will never be, even though maybe that's his destiny, that he's going to be future president. It will never be, because he will not be able to get to where he wants to go, in the sense that he's stuck on the street selling and begging. So the destiny will change. Okay, so we need to make a conscious effort to get those kids out off the streets. How does a 3 or 4 year old stand in the middle of traffic and beg? Apart from their lives being at risk, they're supposed to be in kindergarten with their other 3-year-old, 4-year-olds studying. The foundation is very important. Primary education is very, very important. That's where you learn the basics. You can't jump from primary and go to class 6 when you don't know how to write A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. You can't make it. You are a failure right from that point. Okay, so we need to make a conscious effort to get those kids off the streets. Get them off. Our constitution guarantees that every child is entitled to free primary basic education. Okay, so how are we enforcing free primary basic education for the children on the streets? How are we enforcing it? We are not enforcing it, even though the constitution guarantees it. So make sure that if you catch a child on the streets begging, you find the mother. If you find the mother would make sure that that child will not go on the streets and go and beg, because they beg with the supervision of their mothers.
Okay.
Do you understand? They are more or less like the breadwinners. They have to go and beg and bring to their mothers. And then you have some of the mothers even begging with babies and sitting there, 3 or 4 children, they've distributed them on the streets and they are begging. At the end of the day, they are working for how do you call it? For the mother and the father. That shouldn't be. The government must ensure, the Minister of Gender must ensure that all children, basic education, are in school. If your child is found not in school, because it's supposed to be free, you cannot say that you can't afford it, so they can't be in school. Basic education under our constitution is supposed to be free. It's there. It's a guaranteed right. It's a guaranteed right. So the Ministry of Gender must ensure that right, the children get it, and make sure that the parents who flout that law, are punished. That way we can get every child on board.
That's true. So at this point, could we now look at it that the current government seems not to have that ministry as a priority area?
I think so. I think it's more or less like an afterthought.
Okay.
Yeah, women and children. But don't forget, women and children are the ones that make up the country.
The country, the majority of the population.
Women, our women are the driving force. Our women, whether we like it or not, women. I think that the last population census also stated that we had more women than men.
More women, yeah.
Yes, so women are the driving force in the nation, and the women are the ones who bring up the children. So if we don't take care of the women to make sure that they have good livelihoods, they will also not be able to take care of the children, to give them a good future. And the future of Ghana is children.
Yeah.
So if we want to make sure that, yes, we are securing the future of Ghana, to leave something good behind, then we have to ensure that every child is taken care of, not just some children, every child. Get off all the street beggars, the child street beggars. Get them off the street and make sure that they get some education. Start from there.
Okay, I think let's drift a little and see. Since you are coming from the National Democratic Congress, I want to find out something. There has been a school of thought that the NDC has shown the way by coming up with a a running mate who happened to be a lady in the 2020 election. And that caused the electoral fortune of the NDC, because in the previous elections, they lost about 1 million votes. In the 2020 election, it came out to just about some few hundreds of votes, if that is even considered to be the true value. People still believe that the bringing Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman did the trick. Are you also of the same view?
Oh yes, she brought in the numbers. In 2022 election, I wouldn't say that we lost the election, because we all saw what happened. We all saw how within like 48 hours, the electoral commissioner had changed the figures about 4 times. The final figures that she put out, she changed about 4 times to ensure that it corresponded with what she put out initially. And we also know that we won a lot of seats, but some of them, they twisted our arms and took it from us. So yes, prof did a lot of work. She worked hard, and she brought in the numbers. I think that people are yearning for that kind of leadership, a woman that they can trust. And prof comes across, she has all those qualities.
Okay.
She has all
Okay.
those qualities. You don't need just a woman who would come in, or a vice president. I won't even say a woman, a vice president who would come and talk and talk and talk and do nothing. Like the current one that we have, who keeps talking and does nothing. But when Prof talks, you know that she will stick to her word. So you need a trustworthy vice president, not someone who would come and say something and talk plenty, and the next minute can't be found anywhere, and nothing is done about it.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Zita, this is a serious issue that we have to look at again. You said the current vice president only talks and you cannot find him. The person who is the head of the economic management team, he has been able to show his credentials even in the IT sector by bringing digitalization. Isn't that action from somebody who is on the spot?
My brother, when he was in opposition, he brought 170 questions, and he said that the dollar had run away, and he would bring the dollar in check. How much is the dollar now?
Ah,
At the time he said that the dollar was about 3 cedis. At the time we handed over to them, the dollar was about maybe three, almost 4 cedis. Today the dollar is 8 cedis. And they can't tell me that it's Ukraine or COVID or anything, because the dollar was running away long before. At the time they were talking, gas, petrol was 14 cedis per gallon. Today petrol is 50 cedis per gallon. 50 cedis plus per gallon. This same man, this same Baumia, went and stood on campaign platform at Agbogloshi and said that he was going to build bathrooms for them. They needed toilets and bathrooms. Where are the toilets and bathrooms? Then I can go on and on and on and on about a candidate that is not credible and dishonest. And I can give you so many examples about how how he lied to people and keeps lying. He looks in people's face and he will never stop lying. But there's evidence that he does nothing about it. The hardship in the country, I believe that you've heard about it. Even if you haven't seen it, I believe you've heard about it. I believe you've heard about it. If petrol, 1 gallon of petrol is 50 cedis, 200 cedis is 4 gallons. Do you make 200 cedis a month to be able to buy 4 gallons of petrol to fill your tank for maybe 2-3 days? Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah, I understand what you're
Yes,
saying.
because salaries haven't gone up. Salaries haven't gone up. So the salary and the cost of living is not the same. It doesn't correspond. So people are suffering. And he promised to make Ghana heaven. They promised to change Ghana in 180 days. Have they done that? No, they haven't.
Wow. That is interesting. I thought they had done that because starting from our educational sector, they have introduced free senior high school, so everybody is in the well, everybody now has the advantage of getting to school and coming out with a certificate, which earlier on maybe they wouldn't have had the opportunity.
Well, free senior high, it's a good thing. That's why every time you ask them what they've achieved, they will tell you free senior high. But free senior high is just one little piece of our of our country or our economy or whatever you want to call it. And so the whole world or the whole of the country doesn't revolve around free senior high. There are other things that must be also considered. And even with a free senior high, you have parents complaining that by the time you go and drop off your child at school for that free senior high, the money you've spent is more than the free senior high they are enjoying. They're asking you to pay for so many things. The list is there. You're a journalist. I mean, you can find out for yourself. And that if there are parents here listening to me, I'm sure they will tell you that even though they say it's free, they pay more. Okay. And then you look at the mess they put that free senior high, the mess of education they put it into, doing the double track, they go to school for 3 weeks and come back and stay home for 6 months. I mean, what kind of education is that? And then at the end of the year, when they have to write exams, they go and buy them Pasco to go and study and pass. Study, pass, and forget. What kind of quality how do you call it, professionals or students, or what are we churning out? What kind of graduates are we churning out? Graduates who know nothing because they stayed at home most of the time. And they stay at home most of the time because government is unable to pay for their feeding. Government is unable to pay for stuff that they need in school. And that's why they send them home. Recently, they were sent home because they said they couldn't pay their feeding. So then at the end of the day, then they spent last year, I think they spent about 334 million Ghana cedis to buy them Pasco to study and pass. And then when they get to the university, they know nothing. So what kind of education are we building for our children? Is that what we want for our children? So if we are doing free SHS, do it well. Don't say that because it's free, you are just giving them anything. You are doing mass production and just churning them out. When they get to the university, they are going to struggle. So if you are giving them free education, make sure that you give them the free education that their own children in private schools are getting. So that the people who are in private schools have an upper hand over them when they come out and they have to look for jobs, because they are more qualified, even though they all have the same whatever. If they should go to a workplace, they will not be able to perform. So if you are giving people in government schools free education, give them the same quality that your own children that are not in government schools, in private schools, are enjoying.
Yeah. So maybe from this discussion, it means that the system of the free education is a failure, in inverted commas, because if you look at the free education system, there is no room for repetition. They're just pushing everybody, whether you pass or you don't pass, you just have to go through the system.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we're even going to have more dropouts on the streets than we would have had if we had continued with it. But in the run-up to the 2020 election, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama said if NDC comes into power, they were going to review the free senior high school system. The NPP went to town with it, saying that if NDC wins, they are going to cancel the free senior high school system and parents would rather suffer. What would the NDC government have done differently at this stage?
Yes, those are some of the things that I said. The shortfalls of the free SHS. From the beginning, I said it was good. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good. So there was no plan from His Excellency John Mahama to cancel it. Review is not the same as cancel. And if you recall, immediately we finished the election, they came out and said they are also coming to review it.
Yeah.
So in their term, is review the same as cancel? That is the dishonesty I'm talking about. So your opponent says that I will review it to make it better. And you say, oh no, they are going to cancel it, when we never said we were going to cancel it. And then all of a sudden you win power and you come back and then you say you're also going to review it. So those little dishonest and dishonest statements and attitude from this current government is worrying, and Ghanaians must, ask themselves questions instead of taking everything they tell them and just accepting it like that. So the review, what is review? The black traffic light system that I spoke about earlier, the green system and the yellow system. Okay, for instance, the BECE, they completed in December. They went to school in April. Been sitting home for 4 months. That is not the normal academic calendar that we know. So in 4 months, do you know what would have happened to the children within that time? In 4 months. Unfortunately, some girls would have gotten pregnant and may not even be able to go again. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the devil finds work for idle hands. But they finished BEC I think in October or November. They went in April. In April. Okay. Then you have the Minister of Education, who came out and said that the new system of education was going to be the semester education. And then in less than a week, when he was bashed, turned around and said, "Oh, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to do the semester education anymore. So we are going back to the trimester." He should be consistent. If you want to do semester education, it's people's lives we are talking about. You don't do cha-cha with people's life and today say that I want to do semester, and then when people tell you that's not possible because you didn't consult, then the next minute you come back and you say you want to do trimester. He's confused in the sense that he wants to bring in the American system because he owns a school here in LA, and he runs the American system. And the American system, they do the semester. You go 5 whole months, and then you take a break, and then you come another 5 whole months, and that's the end of semester. But our system is different. So you can't just come and change the semester and bring and do something that without going through having stakeholder meetings and so on and so forth. Up till now, do you know that they changed the syllabus? Up till now, the children don't have textbooks. The children don't have, look at that. The children don't have textbooks up till now. So that's why they spent 334 million Ghana cedis to buy them Pasco to study and go and pass. So basically, you have people with certificates, but they are empty because they don't know anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we need to review the whole free SHS thing. Not that we are canceling the free, no, but how it is run, the procedure, the process, how it is run to make it better, to make sure that we bring out quality graduates. That is what we meant, but we never said we were going to cancel it. They changed, they defined review to mean cancel. We didn't say we were going to cancel it. So there's so many things that this Ministry of Education is doing that I feel they are playing with the lives of the kids. For instance, they've gone to print free SHS t-shirts for the students. Okay, how is a t-shirt they are going to wear going to impact their education? It's not going to impact any education. It's not going to add any value to their knowledge. When they are waiting for textbooks that haven't come, instead of using that money to fund the textbooks, to make sure that they get the necessary tools that they need to study at school, you go and print, spend so much. How much did they spend? Is it 200 million or something? I forgot.
I think I saw something like 258 or so.
250 million to print t-shirts for free SHS students, when what they need is laptops and internet, because that is what the world has become now. Every child needs laptop to study. Every child needs internet to study. Now, internet and laptop is not something that you take away from a child. It is part of their learning tools. Oh, in America, that's what all the kids use. They don't even write. Every child is given a Chromebook, and they have internet in their school, and that's where they do their homework. Even their homework, they do it on their Chromebook and submit to their teacher on an app. There's an app they call Canvas. So they do everything on that app and submit it to their teacher. Their teacher marks it and it comes back. So there's no paper, nothing. Okay, so those are the things the things that we need to do for our children. So you have students who are using mouse, stone. Now, even the now, how do you call it? We don't use mouse anymore. Everything is
Yeah.
touch screen. Everything is touch screen. So mouse was used like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, our teachers are now teaching IT students in Ghana with stone how to turn a mouse when we don't no longer use a mouse. No longer use a mouse. So where are you going to use a mouse? It's no longer used. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we are
Yeah.
far, 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 far behind time. Our kids are far behind time. So instead of spending 250 million to print t-shirts, that is not going to add value to their knowledge and to their education. Why don't you provide internet for the kids so that they can do their research? They can do their research, they can do their assignments. Give every child a laptop. Let them do their work there. Let them be comfortable. Okay? For me, that's what's important, not t-shirts.
Okay. So we've looked at a bit of this free senior high school thing. And I think with the NDC government, the NDC government has started with a progressively free senior high program. Because I read somewhere the finance minister, the former minister of education, Napo, had indicated how much debt they paid as a result of the implementation of the progressive free senior high system by the then NDC government. So it comes to confirm that yes, NDC started something and they came in and then they ruled it out. Basically, we leave that one and then we want to look at the gender again, women's involvement. More of our ladies are more inclined to the economic hardships of the country. Where you sit, is our economy in good health?
Okay, let me quickly touch on. I know you said we are done with it. Let me quickly touch on the progressive free education.
Okay, okay.
And I'll take the second part. So the progressive free education, that was what we're telling Ghanaians, that we need community day schools. Okay,
Okay.
in every community. That's how I'll use America because that's what I know. America has every district has or postcode or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
They have a school. They have a primary school. They have a middle school, and then they have the high school. So you don't travel outside your postcode or your
yeah,
area to go to school, and it's there. So and it's free. It's free. You just go and come. So So for instance, like the one we built in Domi Kwabenya,
yeah.
the that one, it was a whole building with teachers boys quarters and everything for them, so the people in and around Kwabenya, Taifa, they can all come there and get an education, and it was free. So that was why we
Okay.
said we were doing it progressively so that we would not be found wanting where we use all of the national kitty, the money we have, to just fund one aspect of the economy, education. Okay, so that was what we started doing. So it was progressively free. And these people said, no, we are not doing anything free. Yes, but we started a progressively free education with the schools that we built. And look at how many e-blocks we built. This current government promised to build 350 senior high schools he said in
18
108
months.
in 18 months.
In 18 months.
Yes, none has been built. But we built how many? About, I think, roughly about 30 in every community, and there are some that are still rotting away,
Yeah.
that were not completed before we finished our term, that have been left to rot by this government. Now let me go on to the question about economic hardship. As for the hardship, people are really feeling it, and I always say that we all day inside. We all day inside. Look, when you are going to buy petrol, they won't ask you, bring your party card. Are you
Yeah.
NDC or are you NPP? When you are going to buy Kenke, they won't ask you whether you are NPP or you are NDC. We all day inside. So let us all suffer, you know, because at the end of the day, you can see that this whole thing is based on, oh, I'm from the same village or tribe with them, so I'll support them even though I'm suffering. And then those few people go and vote and bring hardship on the rest of us. There's so much hardship in Ghana now. The amount of money that this government has borrowed, is more than any amount that if you combine from Nkrumah's time through to JDM's time. The amount of money this government has borrowed within these 6 years is more than all those governments combined together. Yet you can't see anything that is being done with those monies. Look at foodstuff. A ball of kenke used to be 1 cedi. Now I hear it's about 3 cedi, and it's very small. You can't even, one is not enough for you, so you need about 2. Okay. And yesterday I was just browsing through the internet, and I saw a news item that Ken Oforiatta had gone to sign a loan agreement with the Indian government for $24 million for agric. And I just shook my head. Look, this man just signed off $25 million to an architect for drawing the cathedral.
They paid $30 million to the architect. That's why I was looking at it. 30 million.
30 million. So if you have $30 million of taxpayers' money, and you take cash and you pay to the architect who designed the cathedral. And then you go to India. You go to India and you go and borrow 24 million. Oh yeah, Pepe, are you okay? Are you okay? What is our priority as a nation? What is our priority? So you have the $24 million, but it's just that, no, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to give it to my crony. I'm going to give it to my crony, the architect who drew it. For what? And then go back and go and take a loan of 24 million with interest. So how much interest are we going to pay off that 24 million? How much are we losing? Because that money is not free, it's a loan.
Yeah.
And loans comes with interest. So instead of saving the people that interest that they'll be paying off that 24 million, and because we have the 24 million, obviously, if we didn't have it, you can't pay your friend, the architect.
The 30 million.
So all we are seeing is cronyism and nepotism in this government. He's brought his friend, he's an architect. They paid him. He's drawn the cathedral. They paid him 25 million. They go to India and go and take a loan. Calculate it, go and find, I don't know what the interest rate of the loan is, but go and find the interest rate, calculate it, and see how much we'll be paying in the end for that 24 million. When that 30 million that was paid to Ajayi, the architect, could have been invested in agric if we really want to invest in agric.
But Ambassador Zita, if you look at it, in going to take that 24 million from India, the transaction advises data bank, and that is owned by him, no other person but the Minister of Finance.
That's what I said. Cronyism. So
should it not be looked at it that well, that is where he also get his cut.
Yes, cronyism, corruption, nepotism. Cronyism, nepotism. I didn't even know that data bank was the financial advisor, but you're telling me the data bank. We know who owns data bank. So data bank must make some money. If the financial advisor is charging 1% for his services, so 1% of $24 million, and they will charge 1%. They will charge more than 1% for his services, and all the other things that they must cover. So data bank will take their share, and then we will pay later. So it doesn't make sense. The way they are running this economy is driving everybody down. Only a few are enjoying. Only a few are really enjoying, and they're making millions. Look, their generation and generation and generation will never be poor again, because these people, they don't take in bits, they take in millions. It doesn't make sense. Where is the COVID money? Where is it? They are being asked to come to Parliament to come and account for the COVID money. He's refusing. Why is he refusing to go and account for the COVID money in Parliament? Why? Because they don't know where the money is. They shared it among themselves. Was it IMF? IMF gave us $1 billion.
Yeah.
World Bank said they gave us about 432 or something. Maybe the figure is around 430. Yes, $1 million. Then all the little monies that they gave us for COVID, what happened to it? What happened to those monies? What happened to the COVID money?
Maybe they'll come back and tell they used it in sharing hot meals to people on the streets.
Oh, that rubbish that they saved. So it's very sad. It's very sad how these people, they don't care about anybody. And I don't blame them. As Ghanaians, sometimes I think that we are too timid. If you go
That's the
and
question
talk,
I was going to ask.
yes, if you go and talk right now, they will tell you that, don't talk about it. Leave it. Don't talk about it. But like the loan that they've taken from India right now that I'm talking about, is our children that will come and pay the interest. It's not free. So if you hear that government has gone for loan, they said loan. No, they didn't say freebies. No country gives freebies, because whatever monies they are giving you is taxes that they've taken from their own people that they are giving to you. So there's nothing free. There's no free lunch anyway. There's always a catch. The people are quiet. They will tell you, don't talk about it. They'll come and insult you. Don't talk about it. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. But you are still lying in your kiosk. At the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning, you lie in your kiosk. You don't have a bathroom. You don't have anything. And then you're following them. Your mind is not telling you don't have a job. You finish university. You finish university for years. You are carrying envelope under your armpits, going around looking for a job. But because you don't know anyone there, you're not getting a job. And they've put their families, they've put their cousins, they've put their nieces, they've put their nephews, and giving them the jobs. And you are walking around in the sun with the envelope under your armpit and shouting, "For more, for more."
Well, 4 more. We have just done, I think, almost 2 years of
it's
the
left
4.
with
So
another
another
2 painful years.
And then we'll see how it will come in. I'll just take a bit of water and I'll read the comments that have come up, and then we'll look at how NDC, your political party, is trying to send this information, the hardship that we are undergoing currently and the mismanagement of the economy, to the good people who are on the ground, because this needs to get to them. They need to understand what is going on and why they're feeling this difficulty. So we'll be right back after this, and then we'll look at it. So, Citizen Y says, watching you live from the United States of Amasaman constituency. Citizen, we are very grateful. Almost every week you are with us. Keep joining us and keep sharing the ideas. Patience Daku, once again, as for you are always constant number 1. Watching from Hamburg, Germany, seated to hear from ever beautiful Ambassador Zita. Thank you very much, Patience. We are grateful. Oh, Rose Monsalifu from Bielefeld. We are very grateful, Sister Rose, for being part of the program. And watching you from Educrom in Eastern Region. I'm very happy to see Honorable Zita in active politics since 2006. Please ask her. We don't see a lot of Gang women at the top enclave of politics. What is keeping them away? Okay, when Madam Zita comes, I'll put this question to her, and I'm pretty sure she will answer you. Just stay tuned, and let's see. Nana says, Madam, I'm watching you from Tatale in Northern Region. You are very articulating and cut out for every position you occupied in the past without any corruption tag on you. I'm watching you on YouTube. Oh, we're grateful to our YouTube fans as well. Stay there, and let's continue to do things together. Hello, guys. Adeline. And hi to you. Good to see you this evening once again. And then, Gifty says, greetings from Bremen. Gifty, we're very grateful that you have joined us this evening. And greetings to all the Bremen people. Solo says, I'm enjoying the discussion. Thank you for sharing. I have a question, though. She made mention of women in positions tend to perform well. If that's so, the best measure would be to use gender and children's ministry. Over the years, this ministry headed by women, yet there is no proper policy to protect the Ghanaian child. For instance, children on the street is still a problem. No child support for needy children, etc. What has been the impact of women in this ministry? I'm pretty sure we already tackled that, and Honorable Zita answered that question clearly. But I know there is still a lot more to be done in that ministry. And as she rightly said, the former minister under the NDC regime did a good job. Unfortunately, what we are witnessing now is that the current government has decided to close all eyes on whatever was done by the previous government. And I'm pretty sure if the NDC comes back to power, they will definitely have to go back, revisit, and see how best they can get policies in place to protect our children on the streets in particular. Grace Talk says, watching you from Stuttgart, Germany. Grace, we are very grateful. NDC Diaspora Union, you're watching us live on YouTube, says, my beautiful Zita Benson. Inshallah, NDC will win 2024, and you will surely become Ghana's ambassador to Holland. Oh, you have been moved from Czech Republic to Holland. We pray for the best. In NDC, we really have the men and the women watching you live from Amsterdam. Very, very grateful once again. Mama Grace is right here. Mom Benson, stay blessed. Kweku Adi, watching from Amsterdam, Holland. I'm sure the insults in politics are not directed to women alone. Do you remember the names they called late Professor Mills, J.J. Rawlings, and even John Mahama? Okay, when Madam Zita comes back, I'll let her understand this, and then we'll see what she has to say about it. And so once again, basically, women have failed in this position, giving her explanation. That is for the children's ministry, as you rightly said. So where else? Oh, that one is gone. Okay. Bra Umar Dennis, very grateful that you are part of us. Marvelous program and brilliant input from both Her Excellency Zita Benson and okay. Thank you very much, Bra Umar. We are very grateful that you are part of the program. Adeline, once again, do we have a chance with a woman considering her age? I'm not pretty sure of where this question is coming from, but if it is in reference to the 2020 running mate, then maybe I'll have to put a question to Honorable Zita, and then we see. John Baptist, now Comrade now, great program. One regards to Comrade Jerome and Her Excellency Comrade Zita, watching you from Cologne City, Germany. We are very grateful, Dr. Na, for joining us this evening. And I'm sure a lot. Oh, Abner, I'm proud of you, Madam. Definitely, she's also very proud of you. That she's an inspiration to all of you. Ali says, watching you from Czech Republic. Oh, Ali, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Madam will be very happy to find you watching, definitely. In regards to all the Czech guys there. And greetings from Justice as well. So, we'll come back and then... there were a lot of comments that came up. The notable among them is one that is praying that the NDC comes back to power in 2024, and then you become the ambassador not to Czech Republic but to Holland, the Netherlands.
Thank you, and thanks for all the comments and all the nice comments and everything. And my friend Dorothy was concerned about policies that would protect children. I totally agree, Dorothy. I totally agree. I think that we do not have a clear-cut policy that tend to protect children. That's why I said that. There must be a way to implement their basic rights as guaranteed in the Constitution. That every child is entitled to free basic education. How are we implementing that? Why have we allowed the children to stay on the streets as beggars? Because their parents are also exploiting them for money. That if I send my child out there, someone will give them money and they bring their money to me. So children must be held responsible for their own children. Don't exploit your children and use them as beggars. And government can pass a policy. Make sure that if your child is caught on the streets begging, there should be some punishment that goes for it. If that is done, I don't think that parents would bring their or allow their children to go on the streets to go and beg when they know that it's at the price of maybe ending up in jail or something, or being asked to pay a fine or something. So yes, Dorothy, I totally agree. We need a clear cut policy on how to protect our children. In the Western world, I know that children are guaranteed when the parents are not well to do, there's some money that comes to the parents to take care of them. There's free education. Even some schools give free food and all that. So yes, yeah, I totally agree with Dorothy, and I believe that this is a very great suggestion. And when it's time for us to draw our manifesto, I can assure you, Dorothy, that I would put this suggestion up so that it appears in our manifesto to ensure that our children are protected. Thank you for the suggestion, Dorothy.
I think that is a very great step that at least our viewers will definitely have an impact in your manifesto for the next one on the child policies. Now, the question I wanted us to look at is all these hardships that are going, the people on the ground are feeling it, but they do not understand why we are into these hardships. The MPP in the run-up to 2016 elections went to the ground. They went from village to village to tell people all the stories that they concocted, and that stuck in the minds of the Ghanaian voter. And as a result of that, they all came up to vote against the NDC. Today, everybody is feeling the impact of rises in fuel prices. Because once the fuel price is increased, it affects every facet of life, from the foodstuff to even the water that we drink, because a vehicle has to bring that water. People simply do not understand why. All they hear is Ukraine-Russia war, COVID. How is the NDC trying to get to the ground roots and inform the people that it is not just about Ukraine and Russia war? It's not just about COVID, because we had all these difficulties, the money that they borrowed. And they cannot even, as a result of COVID, the amount of money that they got, free money that they got, is even more than the money that they borrowed as a government. And still, there's nothing to show for it. What is the NDC's position now? How do we go down?
I think that when you are feeling something, no one should come and tell you are feeling it. Ghanaians are feeling it. In their bedrooms, they are complaining. People are actually coming up onto social media in their churches and lambasting the government for all the hardship that they are going through. They are feeling it. So if you are feeling it, what are you, as a Ghanaian, that you are going through this hardship? You, for instance, let me take a trotro driver. Okay, in 2016, petrol was 14 cedis. Nanado promised them that when he comes to power, he will reduce it to 10 cedis. So they voted against His Excellency John Mahama, that we are waiting for Nanado to come and reduce to 10 cedis. Now petrol is 50 cedis. So if you are a trotro driver, what will you do? You know you've been lied to. You know that they have taken you for granted. You know that they have insulted your intelligence. So you yourself should know that, listen, I'm going to change this thing. In 2016, they came in with a lot of lies. They said they were going to build one district, one factory. The one district, one factory they are doing, they haven't built any factories. They are giving the monies that are available for the one district, one factory to their friends who have existing factories. So, for instance, if I have a pineapple factory, they will come and tell me, oh, we want to brand your factory as one district, one factory, and then this is the amount we will give you for to the factory. So basically, no jobs have been created. If the capacity of my factory can take 500 workers, and they come and brand it, it doesn't change it to 1,000 workers. So that is why unemployment is not going anywhere. No new factories are being built. So those are some of the lies, and they are there for us to see it. Okay. Then you one constituency, $1 million.
$1 million.
Yes. Where is the money? Has your constituency, ask yourself? In 2016, that's what they told us. Where is the $1 million for my constituency? It hasn't come. They've lied to you. Okay? So the Ghanaians themselves, I don't think they are angry enough. If they are angry enough, by now, they wouldn't even have allowed this government to lie to them again in 2020. for them to come back. But that one, I don't blame Ghanaians, because we all saw how they use the military and the police to intimidate people, to the extent that about 8 lives were lost during the elections. We've never shed blood before in an election, but in 2020, because Nana wanted to stay in power, that happened. Okay, so what do we do going forward? We said that when we come, we're going to, for instance, if you take the people who ship importers,
yeah,
we were going to make sure that life becomes a little bearable for them. But what has happened now? What has happened? Go and find the receipt or an invoice of maybe someone who has imported a vehicle, and you will be shocked at the taxes on that invoice. It even includes disinfection taxes from the Ministry of Health. And I asked myself,
disinfection.
yes, like disinfectants.
Yeah,
spray, like,
yeah.
I'm telling you, I think I posted one on my page maybe about 2 months ago. I don't have it on hand because I'm using my phone. Otherwise, I would have looked it up. It even includes that. So you pay COVID, you pay how do you call it? Let me see. You pay COVID, you pay NHIL. There are about 8 taxes on there. Including one from Ministry of Health that you are paying for disinfectants. And you ask yourself, what the hell are you disinfecting? Where are they? If I'm importing a car, what has that got to do with disinfectants? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, so a car that is worth $10,000 here, the value of the car is $10,000. By the time it gets to Accra, when you add all the taxes is more than the taxes you have to pay in Accra is more than the value of the car. You haven't added shipping. So, for instance, a Mercedes GLS 450 that is worth maybe $25,000 here gets to Accra and it's $70,000. Why should that be? So the cost of things in Accra is so expensive. Now, we import most of our things from outside. We don't produce. We don't have factories. We have more churches than we have industries. So we don't produce anything. We don't even toothpick that we use to remove our things from our teeth. We don't produce it. So we go to China for everything. So let's assume that I go and import this thing. As at the time I was buying it, the dollar is 8 cedis. I have to change 8 cedis for $1 to be able to go and buy this. How much will I sell it when I come? Maybe in China, this thing is $1. But by the time it comes and I pay my shipping expenses and everything, it's gone up. So basically, we it's not just the hardship is not just being caused by the high cost of fuel. No, the hardship itself, because our dollar is based on import. We import everything that we survive on in Ghana. Once the dollar goes up, then we are doomed.
Yeah.
And then apart from that, when the goods get to Ghana, the taxes that you have to pay to clear, and if you are unable to clear, then they sell it and they don't even sell it. They give it to food soldiers to divide amongst themselves and share. And then you lose out, which is just not right. So as for the hardship, it has nothing to do with COVID. The government, the IMF and World Bank gave them money. And during COVID, the economy of America crashed. Everything came to a standstill. Restaurants were closed, everything. But that didn't happen in Ghana. Lives were still ongoing. Yeah. So comparatively, what did we lose during COVID? We only gained because they gave us money. Even our vaccines and stuff, they gave it to us for free, except for the time when the Minister of Health wanted to scam the country, and he said he was going to Russia to go and buy a vaccine that was worth $9, and he was coming to give it to us for $25, and he was caught, and the whole deal fell through. Even that, I believe that we lost some money, but then he came back and said that on paper that they have refunded the money, but we never saw the money.
You never saw the money.
Still at post.
Yeah. I think we may have to make time to look at the inflow of funds during the COVID period and how it has been expanded, and vis-a-vis what has the country actually benefited from all these things. At our next sitting, if we have time, we will definitely have to do that, because if we continue, we cannot finish today. So probably we just have to say thank you, and then give the opportunity to say parting words to especially your great followers who have been with us from the beginning till this point.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. I always like to come on Today Ghana News TV because you guys are great, and I encourage people to watch it on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of your program, and anytime you need me, you can call on me to talk. And all I'll say is that people should stop believing the lies of this government. They have nothing new to offer. It's been almost 6 years. It's been more than 6 years since they've been in power. If any change was going to come, by now we would have seen that change. And the kind of work, the kind of development that JM brought in 4 years that he was president, you can't even compare it to the amount of money these people have gotten. They brought e-levy. They said they don't want to go to IMF anymore. So we now have to pay e-levy. What are we hearing now? We are hearing that they are going back to IMF. So all that is a scam. They keep lying every day, and every time we buy into their lies, we only make little noise on social media, and then, oh, game over, and then we forget about it, and the next minute they come up with the next lie, and then we buy into it. So they're taking us all for fools. They're taking us all for granted. When the e-levy, why did e-levy come? They said e-levy because they needed us to not to go to IMF. But the Deputy Minister of Finance just announced that we are going back to IMF. That should be
Madam Zita, let me, the way I thought we were going to end here, but once
I'm ending by my parting words.
No,
so
once you are mentioning
that's food for thought. I'm leaving it
let me
there.
go. Once you are mentioning e-levy, I just want a very simple question. Very simple. It's not a very long one.
Okay.
From your experience as somebody who has been in government, you've held ministerial appointments, you have been an ambassador before, and you've seen how the economy was managed during the NDC era. Today we have MPP in place. How will you score, or how will you rate this MPP government on a score of 1 to 10? On a score of 1 to 10, 10 the best.
On my report, because see, let me tell you, on my report, because when I take even the education sector that they think that they've done well, they haven't. It's just a free SHS that it goes, but the things that come with free SHS, desk, furniture, accommodation and all that, textbooks, they don't have textbooks to study. It's zero. So if apart from the free SHS, maybe I'll give them 5 for free SHS. There's so many things that don't come with the education that the children need. Okay, so that one apart. But if you take infrastructure, what have they built? Nothing. If you take health, people still go to Kolebu and there are no beds. People are dying. There are no machines, no equipment, nothing. When you go and you have to go and do, for instance, colonoscopy or something, they are still going the hard way of doing colonoscopy when there are modern ways of doing colonoscopy and endoscopy, for instance. Then the machines and equipment are not there. If you take aviation, nothing. So on all the sectors, if you take it one by one, agree. We have food for planting. That money was given from, I think, Denmark or something. They have finished spending the money. One bunch of plantain is more than 20 cedis or 30 cedis. I don't know how much it's going for, but I know it's very expensive. In that era of food for planting, there's no corn. We are China. China is bagging Gary. China is bagging Gary and sending it to Ghana. Is that not a shame? in the era of food and planting. So yes, I will on my report all. Maybe 2/10.
2/10 is the score for the MPP government
Look at the flood that happened recently. And the president had audacity to say that he wasn't going to spend money on floods if we don't change our attitude. Yet he will spend money on his private jet. His private jet is more important than the flood that he has to deal with. If he doesn't want to spend money on the floods, he should stop spending money on his private jet. That is what we don't need.
Wonderful. Is it a caution to the president? If you can't spend money on the flats, stop spending money on our private jet. And with a score of 2/10, is it we draw the curtains down on this evening's program on MyView. And we are very grateful for all of you joining us. And we pray that come again Monday next week. We will share our views again together, and then we'll keep the program running. Have a blessed evening.
All your viewers too. Thank you, viewers. Bye.
It's a pleasure. Bye.
Waiting there happy for Africa. Dusty old men holding on to power, leading the people to where? The grave? Wicked criminal leaders. See them a come, then coming like an angel. But they my thief, them no say they my thief. Mr. President, you coming like a savior. But you a thief, you know say you a thief. Thief president, why you thieving so? Thief man, why you thief so? The people they must suffer.